lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sim Racing Media. We are live here at Richmond Raceway for round number 8 of the Monsters of Speed Racing League NewGen Cup Series. We're going to go ahead and take a look at your current post hitter, Dylan McDonald's lap right now. We joined in just a few minutes after qualifying started, about 3.5 minutes to go. Dylan McDonald, your current post hitter with 22.16. See what lines he ran just to put down such a quick lap. Meanwhile, we've got Cody Mitchell getting onto the racetrack right now. We'll tune into that in just a few moments. Dylan McDonald won last week at Suzuka. Got the job done the last time we were at a short track, or short-ish track, the Milwaukee Mile. I believe that was week number 2 or 3. Dylan McDonald sits on the pole here so far. Jump back up live to see Cody Mitchell. Got a little bit loose there coming up off of turn number 2. Here off before, sits in 6th place to see if he can improve his time. Doesn't look to be the case here. But Dylan McDonald going to sit on the pole here at Richmond Raceway. Mark Parkhurst going to be on his outside. Having a couple of graphical issues there, so apologize about that, but just a minute or so we'll have ourselves the race loaded up. These guys gridded up and ready to go. Mark Parkhurst also put himself down a phenomenal lap. Let's see what lap number 1 entails, or rather the end of. So here's the first lap out of Mark Parkhurst. That puts him on the outside of row number 2. Greg Wood Jr. sits in 3rd, George Jewell in 4th, Jonathan Cogswell rounding out the top 5. Pretty smooth run out of Mark Parkhurst in that 32 machine. Running through 3 and 4, stays right on the bottom. Lets up on the wheel, gets next to the wall, crosses the line. Ah. Sorry about that. Well, as everybody gets gridded up here, we're going to go ahead and try to get these graphical issues sorted out. We will be right back. Still trying to work on getting the graphics together here. I apologize for the delay in that. We'll run through your starting order real quick. We've got Dylan McDonald, Mark Parkhurst, Greg Wood Jr., George Jewell, Jonathan Cogswell, Cody Mitchell, James McCanney, John McIntyre, Rhett Bowser, David Modespa, Zach Woods, Jonathan Leach, Matt Metler, Angel Santiago, Greg Wood, and Richard Gonzalez rounding out the field here today. All right, so as we get ready to rock and rumble here at Richmond, Mark Parkhurst is going to lead, or Dylan McDonald rather, is going to lead them down. Still got 1 lap to green, which gives me a chance to get this ready. Once again, I apologize for the faux pas here on the pre-race, but we'll have this ready to rock and rumble for this fantastic 150 150 lap race. We've got 3 stages set for you. The laps, they end at 35 and 85 for stages 1 and 2, and then we go through and through to the finish. So 150 laps. It's definitely going to be a long one for these guys here tonight. Pace car gets ready to make that hard left turn, gets her down into the pit lane. Now the field is in the hands of Dylan McDonald. Green flag is out. We are racing here at Richmond. McDonald with a strong run on the inside. Greg Wood tries to push through to take away second place from Mark Parkhurst up on the top side. Parkhurst still there on the top side, barely. Now the 78 of Greg Wood's going to get clear. The top 4 are single file, top 5 are, but we've got a battle for 6th place right now as James McCanney works the inside of Rhett Bowser. John McIntyre back here sitting in that 29 machine, the Busch Light Kevin Harvick throwback. 94 slides up the racetrack just a little bit. Rhett Bowser has to catch it. 29 slides up the track as well. These guys still stay side by side, and now here comes the 29 of McIntyre working it deep in on the outside, trying to work to the outside of the 20, and both the 20, everybody's getting loose coming up off of turn 2. That's going to bring out the caution flag. 3 different cars had incidents there coming up off of turn number 2. John McIntyre, Cody Mitchell, and I believe the 20 was another one as well, James McCanney. So see the 44 and the 20 on the inside getting sideways. The 29 goes up to the outside. 29's the only one who ends up making contact there. John McIntyre got up into the outside wall on the correction. But the 20... James McCanney and Cody Mitchell in the 44 both able to get away okay. First caution out early here at Richmond Raceway. Going to see McIntyre come into the pits, get some of that damage fixed. Once again, we appreciate everybody who's tuning in here, staying safe from all the weather. I know we've had some crazy weather down south, especially in the Arkansas area. So if you're watching from there, we're definitely hoping you're doing okay. And seen some wild weather throughout the course of the day everywhere. I'm up in Minnesota. We're getting snow, so that's a perfect April Fool's joke from spring up here. But I know in Iowa there was some tornadoes as well, and you know, kind of all throughout the Midwest, there's been some wild weather. So anybody who's tuning in, glad you're safe and tuning into some racing. Dylan McDonald leads the race after 5 laps. Starts from the pole, hasn't looked back so far, but under yellow early, hasn't had a whole lot of opposition or adversity to face here as we have 5 laps completed out of 150. Greg Wood was able to get up to 2nd place there on the initial start. But now he's going to be restarting on the outside. So we'll see if that 32 machine of Mark Parkhurst is able to play that reverse card, get down to the inside, and take away that 2nd spot. James Jones says Arizona goes from 50 to mid 80s, back and forth each day. Yeah, I can imagine up in that desert, it's going to be quite a temperature variation there. I've heard stories, but living in it, that must be wild as the lights are off on the pace car now. Dylan McDonald getting ready to lead them down. Greg Wood Jr., Mark Parkhurst, George Jewell, and Jonathan Cogswell round out your top 5. Then we've got Rhett Bowser, Jonathan Leach to his outside, James McCanney, Zach Woods, and Matt Metler, I believe, will be restarting 10th here. He works his way up to the top side. So Dylan McDonald in the 38 machine. Getting ready to get her done here for the 2nd time on a restart. into the Geico restart zone and hard on the throttle, and second place is going to change hands almost immediately as Parkhurst is able to get on the throttle and to the inside of Greg Wood. Wood's clear to get down now, and he is going to take away third place, get in front of Jonathan Cogswell, but now we've got ourselves a battle for a top 6 spot as Jonathan Leach up on the top side of Rhett Bowser. Unable to get the momentum up top that he wants, but 6th place to Rhett Bowser. Jonathan Leach back to 7th. Now we've got James McCanny working the inside of the 60 of Zach Woods. That 60 looks strong there up on the top side. He's going to be able to get a strong run coming up on the 20. Not quite able to clear him down the back straightaway. That turn 2 wall, it jets out at you. You're not quite able to use up all the racetrack that you want to. But turn 4, it's really easy to let up off the wheel a little bit and use up all of the racetrack. As you see Zach Woods do so, now he's up into 7th place, or 8th place rather, chasing down at 7th place Jonathan Leach. Matt Metler back here trying to chase down Cody Mitchell, rocking that Mopar car. We got Richard Gonzalez back here in the 23 Mobile 1. David Modespa just in front of him in the 213 Simware Ford Mustang number 1. He's actually chased down Matt Metler a little bit here. John McIntyre got his damage fixed, but seems like he's just chilling right now in terms of waiting for the stage break that he knows is coming in just over 20 laps. But out front, it is all Dylan McDonald. He's got himself about 3/4 of a second over Greg Wood Jr. in 2nd place. There's Angel Santiago going a lap down early. Unfortunate for him to start the day that way, but that was a wall scrape there out of Greg Wood, getting right up next to it. Up close and personal with the wall, but Dylan McDonald has continued to gap these guys. You gotta wonder if it's maybe acceptable to use up the tires early on, with the short stage being the first one. Only 35 laps, the caution comes out at the end of 35, and will award points at that point. And Dylan McDonald, obviously, if he stays out front, he's going to be able to pad on to his points lead over Mark Parkhurst. But Dylan sitting out here, just 21 laps to go to end this stage. About a 1.5 out front. Now Mark Parkhurst sitting in 3rd place. He's catching up to the 78 little by little. Greg Wood trying to defend that 2nd place, but Parkhurst working a little bit longer of a run type of situation here. You saw that 78 slide just a little bit before he left our camera shot. That allowed Parkhurst to get a little bit closer there. Less than a car length separating these two for 2nd place. And this is one of those chess matches, one of those methodical battles that you're going to see at a track like Richmond, especially with these multiple groups being able to be worked in, especially later in the run too, when these things get worn out, these tires get worn out, the grooves get rubbered in. Man, I'm excited for this action we're going to keep on seeing right now. As you see a couple of different lines there in the battle for 2nd. George Jewell sitting back here in the 07 trying to chase down Jonathan Cogswell just behind that battle we were watching. Cogswell slides up just a little bit up off the corner. It seems like Jewell stays off the gas just a little bit longer, is able to utilize the inside lane for just a hair longer than that 27 in front of him. Going to allow him to save some tires throughout the course of the run, but like we mentioned, 35 laps. We're actually at the halfway point in this first stage. Our tires really going to be a concern as much as they are later on, as we see a 50 lap stage for the 2nd one and 75 or 65 for the 3rd. A lot of questions to be answered here early on. 20 laps will be complete this next time around for your race leader, Dylan McDonald. We'll continue to watch this battle. Zach Woods, however, sits right behind Rhett Bowser. Matt Metler working the outside of the one machine of Modespa. These guys try to work to the inside of Angel Santiago. One car's going to be able to hold on to the 11th place for right now. Metler gets up into there right next to Angel, potentially a little bit wider than he wanted to. It's going to allow Richard Gonzalez to get up in front of that 90 as well. Greg Wood down defending now from the 27 of Jonathan Cogswell. Mark Parkhurst was able to get around for second. Dylan McDonald's lead has now stabilized around 2 seconds. Greg Wood Jr. falling back into the clutches of the rest of the field here at Richmond. Wood loose coming up off of turn 2. That's going to give Cogswell the outside. Wood doesn't fight it too hard. Gets in early on the braking, knowing he's going to have the better entry. But can Cogswell try to cross him over? Here comes Cogswell down to the inside. To the inside of Wood. He's got a fender there. He's got him to the door. And now deep on entry is the 27 of Jonathan Cogswell. These guys racing side by side, but giving plenty of space there. Greg Wood just scrapes the wall, but is able to continue that run up on the top side. Stay to the door of the 27, and now he's going to have more room to work that wheel. Coming up on the outside. Stays up on his bumper. Is he going to be able to get back next to him, getting down into turn number 1? Not quite. Put the 27 up in third, but Greg Wood Jr. did not want to give that one up. These last couple times around, the quickest car on the track has been Mark Parkhurst in the 32. He's run a 22.86. Well, this last time, actually, Dylan McDonald answered with the 22.88. So these top two are definitely putting down quick lap times. The next fastest car was Jonathan Cogswell with the 23.04, just over a tenth and a half slower than our leader, Dylan McDonald. And as we have less than 10 laps to go in this first stage, we're really going to figure out what wearing down these tires is going to do. How early can you push? How late can you wait? It's Matt Metler now under fire from Richard Gonzalez. Metler working that top side, a big-time top side run there. He's going to try to keep that run on the outside of Gonzalez, but Gonzalez just so strong there on the inside. Going to be tough to keep him back there. He's able to do so for this time around, but look at that sideways out of the 23 coming up off of turn number 4. Could have had that pass completed maybe if it wasn't for that sideways moment, but Matt Metler up in 12th for now. 2 seconds is the gap back from the lead. Dylan McDonald to Mark Parkhurst. Parkhurst has kind of stabilized a little bit. These guys running virtually equal lap times. Still a tenth quicker than the driver behind. That's Jonathan Cogswell. We'll go ahead and show you the top 5's last lap times up here, so you can see just how close these guys are coming across the line. A 23.09, a 23.047, a 23.024. So top 3 lap times, they are under a blanket. This next restart is going to be an absolute blast to watch, and especially with the slightly longer stage, these guys are going to have a little bit more to worry about. Appreciate you, Shasta Van Gessel, saying go 07 Jewel. Good luck to all. We appreciate everybody who's tuning in here. George Jewell sits in 5th place here to end the first stage. So far, so good. Still 5 laps to go in the first stage, 120 laps in this race. A long time to go, but we've got all night to get there, and these guys are going to put on a show. Closest battle on the track right now is James McCanny and Richard Gonzalez. Gonzalez seems to be quicker than McCanny right now, and you saw just how much he was able to gain there through 3 and 4. That 23 is on a tear right now. Looks to the bottom side. Gets to about the door. The 20 car gets a little bit loose coming up off the corner. That's going to give Gonzalez a chance to get down to the inside. Put Angel Santiago down to the inside as well. He's out here trying to get some laps back. Had a slow start to the race, but seems like he's got a bit more pace now. That 90 car of Angel Santiago. Gregory Wood Sr. has come to the pits just before stage end. Put him down a couple of laps. Unfortunate break for him. But Dylan McDonald, with 3 laps to go in stage number 1, he's got 2.5 seconds over Mark Parkhurst. And another second back to Jonathan Cogswell. Greg Wood Jr., 2.5 seconds back. And George Jewell rounding out your top 5. Another 1.5 seconds behind him. Jonathan Leach trying to chase down Zach Woods. A couple guys with some SRM logos up on their race cars. We definitely appreciate them representing the brand. See if Jonathan's going to be able to get around Zach Woods. Woods gets loose coming up off of 2. Look at Leach, goes down to the inside, dives it in deep. It's going to be the last lap in the stage here for Dylan McDonald. He's going to come through turns 1 and 2. Keep an eye on this battle, though. 1 lap to get it done for Jonathan Leach. He looks up to the top side. Can he get the run coming up off? Dylan McDonald's going to come across the line to take the stage win. Mark Parkhurst will be in second. Jonathan Cogswell, Greg Wood Jr., George Jewell, and then Rhett Bowser rounds out top 10. Or not the top 10. Rhett Bowser was 6th place. Leach unable to get around Zach Woods as the caution does come out as soon as the field cycles across the finish line to end stage number 1. Everybody's going to come in to the pits this time around. Dylan McDonald, your stage 1 winner. We do want to apologize for the incorrect race logo up in the corner. It's not the Waldorf race. It's the Kids Lawn Service 150 here at Richmond. We'll go ahead and get that sorted out for you while we take a look at these pit stops, though. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be right back with the green flag of stage number 2. On the mic. All right, back live here at Richmond. Should be getting the 1 to green this time by stage 1 winner Dylan McDonald was the first up off of the pit lane. Mark Parkhurst, 2nd place on the stage, 2nd off of the pits. Then Greg Wood was able to get around Jonathan Cogswell to take away 3rd place. George Jewell going to be up on the top side in 4th. Put Jonathan Cogswell all the way back to 5th. Then we've got Zach Woods, Rhett Bowser, Jonathan Leach, Richard Gonzalez, James McCanney, David Modespa, John McIntyre, Cody Mitchell, Matt Metler, and Angel Santiago. Laps down. Metler, I believe, just the 1 lap down. Santiago as well, 1 lap down. So we will have a race for the free pass as we get ready to rock and rumble here again for stage number 2 here in the Kids Lawn Service 150. Green flag back in the air. The strongest run we've seen for the top side yet. Greg Wood able to stay side by side with that 38 for moments. But he has to relinquish that spot. Gets back into second place. Jonathan Cogswell now on the outside, or on the inside of Mark Parkhurst, trying to take away third place. Parkhurst falling back to fourth from second, and now George Jewell looks down to the inside, trying to take that spot away. Unable to. Everybody single files out up in the top 7 or so. Jonathan Leach trying to keep the 23 behind him, and Rhett Bowser trying to keep the 60 of Zach Woods behind him. Looks like Jonathan Leach hits the wall a little bit coming up off of turn number 2. That might open the door for David Motorspot to get that position. He thought about 3 wide, but the 94, Rhett Bowser, gets up into the wall there, has a bad entry, checks up this group right behind him. Look at this gaggle of cars here with James McCanny, David Motorspot, Jonathan Leach. This is definitely not what you want to see if you're up on top of that spotter's stand. Leach goes wide up in front of these guys. Now we've got 3 wide coming up off of turn number 4. The 44 is going to be able to get through. That's Cody Mitchell. Put him up into the top 10. Now in 9th, passing those 2 cars through turns 3 and 4. Jonathan Leach hasn't quite given that one up yet. Tries to make a run up top. Unable to do so. Sits a car length back. Got the 29 and 20 racing a little bit further back here. This is a battle for 12th place, and now Motorspot trying to get back to the inside of Jonathan Leach. Dylan McDonald picking up right where he left off, though, in the race lead. 45 laps now complete here as the sun has just about set. The lights have turned on. Track's gonna start gripping up more and more as this night goes on. Greg Wood once again trying to get everything he can out of these tires here at the beginning of the run. Is that going to be detrimental as the run continues on? Appreciate everybody who's tuning in live on our YouTube. David Mayo up in here saying go John McIntyre and James McCanny. Team send it. Sure, those guys definitely appreciate having some support up in the chat. We definitely appreciate having you guys tuning in as well. As that Rap Surgeon Camry comes up off of turn number 4, trying to defend from Jonathan Cogswell. Only a couple tenths up off of your race leader, though, in Dylan McDonald. Cogswell inching closer and closer. Now we sit on the front bumper. Now looks down to the inside of Greg Wood. He's going to make that look easy getting down into turn 1. Wood's going to try to hold on to that top side, but just doesn't have enough of a run. Doesn't try to fight it on the outside. He's going to give up that second spot. Now put him under fire from Mark Parkhurst, who's sitting in 4th place. Started in 2nd, or rather restarted. Both started and restarted in 2nd. Fell back a couple of times. Has had to work back up to the front. Sits in 4th place right now. Trying to figure out a way around that Greg Wood car. But Wood with a strong run there down the front straightaway into turns 1 and 2. It's now putting a little bit of a gap between him and Parkhurst. Cody Mitchell deep on entry. Works to the outside of Rhett Bowser. Exit's not going to quite be enough to stay with him, but he's less than a car length away. Seems to be working out in the favor of Cody Mitchell to go in deep into turns 3 and 4. Maybe not so much in 1 and 2, but that run coming up off might just prove me wrong there. 2 car lengths getting down into turns 3 and 4. Works deep up to the outside. Drives deep into the corner, I should say, as we've got a battle for position just in front of these guys. As David Motorspot has crashed, the caution is out once again here in the Monsters of Speed Racing League Kids Lawn Service Inc. 150. Gonna go ahead and take a quick look to see what happened to David here. Racing with the 29. McIntyre looks down to the inside, and oh man, just trying to cross over, didn't quite have enough space. Gets into the back. David turns him up into the wall. Doesn't seem to be heavy damage on that number 1 machine, but enough to bring out the caution here for the 3rd time today, the 2nd caution for cause. And split strategies here for pit stops. Greg Wood, George Jules, Zach Woods, and Rhett Bowser all coming in. And meanwhile, McDonald, Cogswell, Parkhurst, Gonzalez, Mitchell stay out for the top 5. Looks like Jonathan Leach is going to stay out as well. It's going to put him up into 6th place. I tell you what, let's see if we can't... see if we can't get old David up into our chat. I don't know if we're allowed to do this, but I'm not usually here, so. Hey, David, it's Liam up in the booth. Apologies for the short notice, but how's your race going so far, minus that incident?
Oh, I can't complain too much. Cars felt pretty good most of the night, so doing all right, I think, for what we got.
Awesome stuff, dude. Looks like you've been racing super hard with Jonathan and Zach as well, but kind of walk us through that incident there that got you sideways coming out of turn 4.
I just had a bad entry there and hit the brakes pretty hard, and I'm not sure who it was behind me, but he was trying to just kind of do a crossover and didn't quite work out and got me in the bumper.
Yeah, but it's not too bad on that 1 machine, though?
I can't complain too much about it. I think we got another 15-20 seconds to knock some dents out, but the car still feels pretty good.
Rock on, David. We appreciate you joining us up in the booth. We'll send you back down to Titletown.
All right, thanks.
David Modespa, we appreciate him joining us up in here. Very kind of him to speak with us after getting turned, and did not seem upset whatsoever. So definitely good on him for that. Looks like we're approaching the 1 to green. Nope, not yet. These guys started to double up as if they were, but less than 30 laps to go in stage number 2. Well, we've got a moment here. We can go ahead and talk about your points as well. Dylan McDonald leads with 342. Bring the scroll back. But yeah, in terms of points, Dylan leads with 342 over Mark Parkhurst with 326. That's a 16-point gap. James C. Jones, 61 points back. So Parkhurst and McDonald definitely have been the class of the field this year. Both of them with 2 wins. Parkhurst won at the 1.5 miles Las Vegas. And we'll have to double check on the second one for him. He won at Atlanta as well, just before Suzuka. However, that 38 machine won at Suzuka. He also won round number 3 at the Milwaukee Mile. He's had himself some strong runs throughout the course of the season, with a 2nd place the week before that at Homestead, Miami, where Blake Howell won. But Dylan McDonald, strong run all year, looks to continue to pad his points gap as we continue on with stage number 2. Pace car makes that hard left turn. Dylan McDonald gets up into the restart zone, gets to decide the restart, hard up onto the throttle, and Mark Parkhurst getting that 2nd place bonus, or that 2nd place on the inside bonus. Seems like that car is in the best position to anticipate the restart. 2nd place, the first car on the outside. This time it's Jonathan Cogswell. Each time we've seen on a restart, they've not been able to... Oh, and Cogswell locks it up on entry there. Potentially not expecting the 32 to slow down as quick as he did, but locks it up, able to keep it off of Mark Parkhurst. And there's a gaggle of cars right behind him. We got 3 wide. Look at the 78 up on the top side. Greg Wood Jr. with a strong run up top. He's going to get himself up into the top 5 with that move. Passes Richard Gonzalez and John McIntyre. Now McIntyre tries to follow him through, and more 3-wide action with Zach Woods back here, getting passed by Jonathan Leach and that 23 of Richard Gonzalez. 94, Rhett Bowser looks down to the inside of Zach Woods now, and these guys still inches apart here. This is a short track, mind you. This is what we come to see here. Granted, it's a lot wider than we see a lot of other tracks, which is why you can see these three wide battles happen without major controversy. But look at this incredible action here. 23 all the way next to the white line, the 86 all the way next to the wall. The 23 slides up into Zach Woods. Woods able to continue on and maybe even complete the pass. Jonathan Leach loose coming up off of turn 2. Zach Woods gets down on the inside into turns 3 and 4, able to complete that pass, get clear of Jonathan Leach, and now Leach under fire from George Jewell. And meanwhile, all this going on, we've got side-by-side right behind him as Rhett Bowser gets around the 23 of Richard Gonzalez. Now Jewell gets to the inside of Leach. He might have gotten up into the wall, talking about the 86. Might have had to let up off the gas just a little bit there, but now not fighting too hard. We go up forward a little bit. Cody Mitchell had himself a bad corner. Now finds himself in the clutches of John McIntyre. McIntyre looking for a top 5 spot. The action is non-stop here in the Monsters of Speed Racing League, the NewGen Cup Series. Getting it done here at Richmond. We've got more side-by-side action as John McIntyre's under fire from Zach Woods. Woods in that 60 car. It's reminiscent of the Rackley machine that I believe Brad Perez ran. I might be wrong on that, but he's rocking Sim Racing Media colors, which I definitely love to see. We always love to see. Trying to work his way up into the top 5, but finding that 29 machine of John McIntyre, a tough task to get around. McIntyre tightens up into the middle of the corner, has to let up off, but that gives him a strong run coming up off of the corner. Put Woods out in front by half a car length, though, with the strong run coming on the outside. Greg Wood Jr. under fire now for Jonathan Cogswell. Cogswell all the way down next to that yellow line. Unable to complete the pass. Dylan McDonald, Mark Parkhurst, Greg Wood Jr., Jonathan Cogswell, and Cody Mitchell rounding out your top 5. Less than 20 laps to go in stage number 2. We're going to go ahead and give you guys a chance to hear your favorite race cars go around, and we're going to go ahead and turn it up for you guys. Back live here at Richmond. Dylan McDonald continues to lead. Change for a second, though. Greg Wood has been able to get around Mark Parkhurst. And now sits half a second off of your race leader. Last time around, though, Dylan McDonald about a tenth quicker. We'll see if the lap times fall back into the favor of Greg Wood. But for right now, 78 sitting about half a second off. That time around, a tenth quicker. Going to be 10 laps to go in stage number 2 this time around. Somebody going to be able to unseat what seems to be the unstoppable 38 so far today. What a beautiful camera angle right there. You see just how fast these cars are able to get by. Greg Wood is there. See what kind of run he can get coming up off of turns 3 and 4. Dirty air doesn't hurt these cars too much, but gotta think there might be a little bit of it there as Greg Wood gets sideways coming up off of turn 2. Loses a little bit of time to Dylan McDonald there, but this is the closest we've seen anybody this late in a run. Maybe that 78's got something figured out. I think that exit at 2 is kind of where Wood's make or break is. He's able to get close through 1 and 2, but coming up off of turn number 2, he got loose there. That time he scrapes the wall a little bit down the front straightaway. This car and track is probably the... I mean, there's never a good time to hit the wall, but this is not the worst. Strong run coming up off of 2 there. Loose once again. Just a little bit too much throttle. Got a heck of a battle here towards 10th place. We'll keep you updated and looking at the race up front. But these guys, 3 cars under a blanket. The 44 gets up next to the wall. That's going to give John McIntyre a chance to get down to the inside. Rhett Bowser trying to figure out which way to go, which driver to follow. He's going to try to follow down on the inside to get around that 44. 44 is strong up top. Hits the wall, though. That's going to take away all of his momentum. Put Rhett Bowser in front of him. Dylan McDonald continues to lead this thing. Lap 81 out of 150. 5 laps to go in stage number 2. And it looks like Greg Wood is falling off just a little bit. That was one of his better turn 2 exits. Wasn't super loose coming up off of there. He's going to have one more chance to try to close it back in and regain the time lost. Using up that right rear coming out of turn number 2 a couple of times like that, that might just do him in. Once again, want to thank everybody who's tuning in here on Sim Racing Media, whether it be our YouTube or our Facebook. We've got Gary Roll up on Facebook. We got a lot of people up on Facebook here. Brett Salyers, 100 on the 44. Let's go 44. A lot of 44 fans. We got Cody Mitchell fans everywhere. And yeah, we appreciate you guys on Facebook as well as on YouTube. David Mayo, Shasta Van Gessel, James Jones have all been in here. Joseph McDonald as well. Dylan McDonald leading the race right now. Coming to 2 laps to go in stage number 2. Half a second, just over half a second, separates him from second place Greg Wood Jr. John McIntyre is continuing to get closer and closer to that 60 of Zach Woods. We've got ourselves another battle for position here at the end of a stage. That Busch Light 29 tries to work back to the inside of the 60 of Zach Woods. White flag in the stage for Dylan McDonald. 0.6 of a second separate him and Greg Wood Jr. Just a couple hundredths quicker each time for your race leader, Dylan McDonald. Zach Woods going to lose that spot to John McIntyre. Is he going to potentially lose another one to Rhett Bowser? Yes, he is. Cody Mitchell under fire from David Modespa. Put the 1 car up in front. Nope, maybe not. Look at this run up on the top side out of the 44. Cody Mitchell. Dylan McDonald wins the stage. Greg Wood in second. Mark Parkhurst, Jonathan Cogswell, George Jewell, John McIntyre, Rhett Bowser, Zach Woods, David Modespa, and Cody Mitchell to round out the top 10. Then we've got Richard Gonzalez, James McCanney, Jonathan Leach, Matt Metler, Angel Santiago, who Probably hoping to get that lucky dog. Matt Metler, or no, Angel Santiago should get the lucky dog here, yes. Matt Metler got it last time around under that caution. So that's going to put 15 back on the lead lap. Logan, if you're shotgunning a beer for every spot the 44 picks up, I tell you what, he's in 10th place. If your night's going to go as well as you want it to, you might be shotgunning 9 beers. That's not recommended by the Surgeon General. But everybody's coming into the pits right now. The top 14, every lead lap car, Angel Santiago has to stay out so he can get his lap back, but I can guarantee he's going to be coming in as well. Dylan McDonald, first one into the pits from the lead. He's got that first pit stall, so it's going to be tough to get around him here on exit. But look at the call by the 78 to take 2 tires. He's going to get out in front. Dylan McDonald, then Mark Parkhurst, Jonathan Cogswell. Greg Wood Jr. with a 6.5 second pit time. I tell you what, we did it once before. We'll see if we can can't bring Greg Wood up into the booth.
Clear.
Hey Greg, it's Liam up in the booth. How you doing?
Oh, doing all right. How about yourself?
Doing fantastic. Watching a lot of great racing action here. Just wanted to ask you, you won the race off of pit road. Looks like you only took 2 tires there. Was that the call?
I took fuel only because I was off strategy. I wanted to have an extra set in the pits.
Well, there you go. Fuel only for an extra set. So does that leave you with 1 extra set now or 2?
2.
2 extra sets compared to everybody else's 1. So a strategy call here from Greg. We'll let you go here pretty quick. How's the car been handling, though, throughout the course of the race?
A little loose off, a little plowing here and there, but trying to find the balance. The track's starting to change, starting to come into my wheelhouse, so I was able to hang with Dylan. So should be good.
Yeah, definitely a strong run for you, chasing down Dylan there at the end. Got sideways a couple times. You think that kind of prevented you from getting up to him, or?
Yeah, it roasted him. A little throttle happy.
Rock on. Well, thank you so much for joining us up in here. We'll get you sent back down to Titletown, and best of luck throughout stage number 3.
Thank you.
And we appreciate the heck out of Greg Wood joining us and talking with us a little bit. Strategy call there for the 78. Going to try to save an extra set, anticipating on a later caution. 2 sets in the pits right now for that 78 machine. So we get 1 to green this time. Looks like the choose rule in effect. F38 elects to take the bottom side. Mark Parkhurst, though, up on top. Going to try it once again up there. We haven't seen it work very well for anybody in that second place, first up on the outside. So we'll see if the luck changes for that Parkhurst machine in the 32. But for now, we've got 15 of Friday night's best getting ready to do battle. Stage number 3 here at Richmond Raceway. Greg Wood going to lead him down, followed by Mark Parkhurst in second for his car on the outside. Dylan McDonald in third, looking to take a strong run. Green flag in the air and a strong run indeed for that 78, but 32 stays side by side with the 78, or 38 rather, 78 out front. Looks like the 78 loose coming up off the corner. Can't get up out of the throttle as much as he wants to on those old tires. But Mark Parkhurst up into the lead. Sideways a little bit as the 78. He loosens up, or tightens up rather. Has to give up the spot. Put Mark Parkhurst in first. Dylan McDonald now sits in second for the first time all day. He's not leading this race under green. Jonathan Cogswell able to take away third place. Greg Wood Jr. just trying to survive at this point. He's got a huge gaggle of cars as the 29 of McIntyre is able to get around him. George Jewell in the 07 as well. And around, a couple of them go back in the back. Matt Metler and David Modespa. Modespa into the barrels. And Matt Metler goes around. That's going to bring out a caution. That might be a little bit too early for the 78. But we're going to go ahead and take a look to see what happened here to bring out the caution as Matt Metler and David Modespot got together here. Matt goes in deep, slides up the racetrack. Looks like he might have just missed the bottom. Both guys with a phenomenal save. Matt just clipping the barrels, gets him turned around. David had it saved, but just pointed directly to the barrels. There's nowhere for him to go. Thank goodness it wasn't a hard enough contact for him to get stuck up in there or pull the water and sand out of there to bring a hefty red flag. So a quick caution here in stage number 3. We'll see if that 78 decides to come in and take tires now or if he's going to wait, anticipating another. Like I said, I think this might be a little bit too early for that 78, but yeah, he's staying out this time. Well, we've been doing it almost every time, so we'll do it once again. Let's go ahead and bring in Matt Metler. Matt, it's Liam up in the booth. How are you doing today?
Got my hands full, buddy. How about you, man?
Doing pretty good. I'm watching a lot of guys with their hands full. It looked like that last time you definitely had your hands full. Kind of walk us through that contact there with the one car.
Yeah, that restart there, as you're watching there towards the back, everyone was just going for broke. And he got washed up the racetrack pretty high the last corner, so I knew he was probably going to try to send it in there. And I dove it in towards the bottom, and I don't know if I came up and he came down, but I know we made substantial contact, had it partially saved, got back in the loud pedal, didn't have it saved, and had to lock the tires up. And I had just gotten my damage fixed from the my first incident, so I just figured, you know what, going down pit road, using the fast repair, and going to see how we can make out here. But I mean, we're running on the tail end of the lead lap in the last spot, so only can go forward. But it's been a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, a couple of quick questions here before we let you go back. Looked like you kind of clipped that tire barrel there. Was there any damage from that?
Oh yeah, the toe was knocked right back out of my race car again.
Oh, geez, that's a tough break there for you. Like you said, you had to use that fast repair then.
Yes, sir. I just gotten the car fixed, too. That time in the pits, I had the same problem from an earlier incident in the race. So I just kind of said, you know what? I'm using that fast repair, and just hopefully keep the car clean from here on out.
Well, rock on. Seems like we're getting to choose here. Do you have any tires left?
I got one set in the bank.
One set in the bank. All right, Matt, we appreciate you talking with us. We'll let you get ready for this restart here.
Thanks, bud.
That was Matt Metler talking with us up in the booth, and we appreciate the heck out of everybody who's graciously come in and talked with us on these last-minute interviews, but we love it. We'd love to bring you guys the commentary from the drivers as things are happening. Now, as things are happening, the choose happened. That puts the 29 in third place. Mark Parkhurst obviously took the inside, 29 takes the outside. Green flag back out. Mark Parkhurst strong on the gas. The 29, John McIntyre, trying to gain a spot or two here with this. Looks like he might be able to slot down in third place. Can he get down in front of the 27? No, not quite. Comes up off of turn number 2. Doesn't quite have enough. Hard into the wall. We've got contact in the back, and around goes Red Bowser. Hard into the wall. Cody Mitchell involved as well, sent backwards down the back straightaway. And for the second time in stage number 3, we've had a caution flag for cause not long after the restart. Get down in here, it looks like the 44 sees some blinking in front of him. 78 might have gotten loose up into the wall, and yeah, it's tough to react to what you can't see. The 44 checks up, gets run over a little bit. Just one of those chain reactions here coming up off of turn number 2 at Richmond. Super tough corner to see what's going on. As you can see, before that 78 blinked out, he did get a little bit loose, corrected, hit the wall, and that's what caused the 44 to let up off the throttle. Jonathan Leach nowhere to go. Red Bowser nowhere to go. Looks like the 78 has decided to come in and take his tires. Potentially get some of that damage fixed. I don't think he's taking his fast repair given the fact that he's still in the pits, but Rhett Bowser, he's out of the pits. Likely took his fast repair after that damage. Cody comes back in. Let's see if we can't talk with Cody there. Hey Cody, it's Liam up in the booth. How you doing?
Well, I was doing pretty good until I got caught up in that last wreck, but could be worse.
Yeah, you've definitely had a strong run, and you've got a lot of fans up in the Facebook chat. We've got guys saying they're going to shotgun a beer for every position you make. So, you know, props to you for having so many fans. But kind of walk us through what happened there. On our screen, it looked like that 78 was kind of blinking there. It was tough to see what was going on.
Yeah, he started blinking there, and I think it was more net code than anything. I never really ran at Richmond before, so I was kind of just waiting until about 50 to go to start being aggressive once I figured the track out. And about that time is kind of when Greg blinked out, and I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, definitely a tough break for you there. Do you have a fast repair left? I noticed you were coming in using some timed repairs.
I do. I'm saving it just because I have a feeling there will be another big wreck. So I don't want to burn it right now and need it later. So I do have one in the pocket.
Don't blame you there. And in terms of tires, you got a set left? Or
I actually have 2 sets left, so
2 sets
saving those bad boys as well.
Awesome stuff. Cody Mitchell out here with a strategy to win here after a little bit of contact. Puts him back to 15th place. Go ahead and get you sent back to, I believe you're with Titletown as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
And it looks
sir.
like they're wrecking again, so I've called that one.
So missed the restart there. Apologies for that. But Mark Parkhurst under fire from Dylan McDonald. McDonald runs strong down on the inside. Doesn't seem to have enough momentum. Didn't seem to see that crash that Cody was talking about in front of him, but side by side still for the race lead. McDonald trying to get the inside advantage from Parkhurst. Parkhurst not giving it up. Trying to make that 38 use up more tire down on the inside. But who knows, it might backfire. Looks like the 38 going to get clear coming up off of 2. Is the 32 going to be able to get crossover done? Sideways down the back straightaway, it looked like was Greg Wood Jr. Might be why that 23 was down to the inside. So Dylan McDonald back out into the race lead. Mark Parkhurst, Jonathan Cogswell, John McIntyre, George Jewell, Jonathan Leach, Angel Santiago back on the lead lap. Greg Wood with a strong recovery after getting up into the wall. Have to take his at least one set of tires there. James McCanny and Matt Metler rounding out your top 10, but Richard Gonzalez is going to try to get that spot away from him real quick. Zach Woods with a strong run all day, now sitting in 12th place, not quite where he wanted to be. Rhett Bowser we saw involved in that last contact down the back straightaway. Cody Mitchell also involved in that. And David Modespa rounds out lead lap cars. Gregory Wood Sr. is out of the race after lap 29. So 15 cars in the race, 15 cars on the lead lap. We approach 41 laps to go, and a second separates our top 3. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in. Billy Webb says, "Go Cody" from Charlotte, North Carolina. Cody obviously was up in the booth, and definitely appreciate his fans being here. That's half of why we brought him up in here. Just hate that it took a caution to get him in here. But Cody with some fans here, especially on the Facebook chat, and 1 or 2 in the YouTube chat as well. We appreciate everybody who's tuned in here live and enjoyed their Friday night on Sim Racing Media. Stayed safe with the weather situations going on. And if you're new here, go ahead and hit that follow button on Facebook, hit the subscribe on YouTube, and hit the bell. We've got fantastic racing 7 nights a week, and hey, we do a couple of day shows throughout the week as well. So if you're on your lunch break and want to watch some racing while you're at work, go ahead and tune in. Otherwise, like I said, we got fantastic racing 7 nights a week. Hit that bell so you never miss a show. Dylan McDonald holds on to the race lead. Mark Parkhurst still sits in second, about 6/10 up off. Jonathan Cogswell 3/10 behind him. Less than a second separates the lead from third place. John McIntyre doing absolutely everything within his power to try to chase these guys down. You saw him getting squirrely coming up off of turn number 2 that last time. Greg Wood Jr. able to get his way up to 7th place so far. He's got Angel Santiago following him. Jonathan Leach is the next car for him to get around. He's 3.5 seconds off the race lead, but with fresher tires, 35 laps to go. Is that going to be enough time? Jonathan Leach way loose coming up off of turn number 2. Give that 6th spot to Greg Wood. Now Santiago is going to be all up on the back bumper of Jonathan Leach. Matt Metler not too far behind these guys, and I know how bad he wants to beat Jonathan at these racetracks. These guys have a little bit of, not quite beef, but Matt just likes to brag when he finishes up in front of John. So we'll see if that plays out into effect here throughout the course of these next 33 laps. However, Dylan McDonald has just been on a tear since the drop of the green flag. Didn't miss a beat when he lost the lead on pit stops. Now sits half a second out in front of Mark Parkhurst. This guy's running virtually equal lap times, but just a hair quicker of the race leader, Dylan McDonald. Car James McCanny trying to get around Rhett Bowser here towards the back of the field. This is for 12th place. You can see a couple of different lines being run here by all 3 of the cars on screen. Zach Woods kind of towards the outside to middle. Rhett Bowser on the bottom. This time around, Zach Woods stays on the bottom. Matty Mink says, go Cody. Appreciate you, Matty. Cody is sitting in 15th right now after some damage there. Waiting on his fast repair for a little bit later, anticipating another caution, but with 30 laps to go and the field getting kind of strung out here, it might be a tough ask to get a caution here. Richmond is known for its multi-group racing and the fact that guys can run 2 and 3 wide without any major issues. So going to be tough to get that caution, but hey, who knows? It is short track racing. We've got Jonathan Cogswell chasing down the 32 of Mark Parkhurst. Towards the back, David Modespa trying to get down to the inside of the 20. He's going to get that pass done, put him up into 13th place. James McCanny falls back another spot, potentially into the clutches of Cody Mitchell. Cody chilling in the back. He's got 2 sets of tires left, and he's got a fast repair. He is praying for a caution right now. Maybe even for another one after that. We're getting to the point where if you've got 2 sets, this is where you need the caution. So that way the other guys have a chance to wear out their tires so you can take that second set and try to take advantage. Put Cody Mitchell up into 14th, gets around James McCanny. Matt Metler under risk of losing a spot here. The 23 sideways coming up off of turn 2. Matt Metler as well stays right up next to the wall, trying to give as much space as possible, but the 23 with poor entry there is unable to continue that run. Matt Metler remains in 9th. Richard Gonzalez in 10th. Coming to 25 laps to go, and Dylan McDonald leads by just over a second. Each time around, he has been quicker than everybody behind him, this time by a tenth and a half. Cogswell with an equal lap time to 32, though. Santiago and Leach diving down into 3. Leach all the way up next to the wall, trying to get everything he can on the exit, losing that entry. Santiago down to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to utilize that shorter distance. Slides up the racetrack just a little bit. That's going to give Leach the advantage if he can keep it up off the wall. Leach comes up off the corner, gets a little bit loose. So does Santiago. These guys still dead even down into 3. Santiago comes up the racetrack, pulls a little bit of a slider, able to complete that pass on Jonathan Leach, put Santiago into 7th, which is a very strong recovery after being a couple of laps down here at the beginning. If only that 90 machine had been able to continue on from the start, he would probably be up in that top 5 right now. Jonathan Leach sits now in 8th place, 3.75 seconds up in front of Matt Metler, who continues to be under fire from Richard Gonzalez. 20 laps to go with just a few short circuits here, 22 to go at the line this time. Dylan McDonald continues to lead and continues to increase that gap. Mark Parkhurst sits in 2nd place, still under fire from Jonathan Cogswell. These guys have stayed about a half a second separated from each other. Haven't really been able to change that. We've got another race for position here. This one is for 9th. Matt Metler has it. Richard Gonzalez wants it. Metler strong up on the top side. Not strong enough, though. That 23 is going to get almost clear down into 3 and 4. This time around through 3 and 4, Metler goes way up the racetrack. That's going to give the 23 a chance. No, Matt Metler did it. He did it right coming up. I thought he went way up the racetrack. No, he put the throttle down at the right time. Got a good run coming up off. He's going to try it once again here coming up off of turn number 2. He really doesn't want to lose 9th place. Tell you what, Rhett Bowser right behind these guys. He's hoping to get a 2-for-1. And David Modespaw right behind them. Cody Mitchell right behind him as well. Zach Woods had himself a problem. He's fallen back a little bit. But we've got 5 cars racing for a top 10 spot right under a blanket here with 20 laps to go. Matt Metler still not giving up with that 23 down to his inside. Metler with a strong run coming on the exits every single time. Dives it in deep, slides it all the way up the racetrack. Now he's going to try to cut back down to get that run coming up off the corner. Stays at the door of the 23 once again. Racing out front hasn't changed a whole lot. We'll get you updated on the battle for second as it closes down. It's 3/10 right now, but we've got 5 cars under a blanket. And I tell you what, this is short track racing at its finest. I don't know how they get through without contact, but these guys, some of the best to do it on Friday nights, I would imagine they are able to. Matt Metler continues to hold on to that 9th position for right now as David Modespaw goes in deep. Might have gotten into the back of that 93. Could have helped his turn, but I tell you what, if you're in that 93 machine, you don't think it quite that way. Matt Metler clear of the 23, able to continue on in 9th. But now we've got that 23 machine moving back down to the bottom. David Modespaw able to get around Rhett Bowser, and Cody Mitchell trying to get around as well. Now Mitchell all the way up to the top side. He's going to get right up next to the wall. Unable to make any spots, but he's got a strong run coming up off the corner. Now he moves back up to the outside of the 94 Rhett Bowser. Look at how close these guys are getting down to turns 3 and 4. The battle for second place is about 2.5 tenths of a second. We jump back to that for just a sec. But now we've got David Modespaw going down deep to the inside of Matt Metler. He dove it in there deep, tried to shove him up the racetrack, and that's going to get the job done. Put Modespaw up into 9th place. Matt Metler now trying to defend a top 10 spot from everybody behind him. Rhett Bowser down to the inside. Cody Mitchell as well. Bowser with a strong run. Matt Metler trying to keep that top side momentum as strong as it has been these last couple of laps, but unable to keep it up there as the 94 of Bowser gets that pass made. And here's Cody Mitchell now trying to take away 11th place. He gets into the back of Matt Metler. Metler goes up the racetrack. Mitchell down to the inside. Is there going to be a potential repayment here? As we've got 14 laps to go. Metler goes down to the inside. Metler dives it in deep. Gets down to the apron. He's going to hit the 44 right back. Metler did not like what he felt there getting down to the corner. Now the 44 dives it in deep. Once again, Metler rides up the racetrack. Is that going to open the door for the 23? Not quite. Almost did. Matt Metler thinks better of it, but Metler falls back to 12th place. We've got 12 laps to go, and Mark Parkhurst is defending from third place, defending second place from Jonathan Cogswell. Dylan McDonald has opened up almost a 3-second lead. He's actually chasing down that group of cars that we were looking at. They're about to be lapped with 12 laps to go. I just don't know if that's going to work. Jonathan Cogswell completes the pass on the inside, down 3 and 4 on Mark Parkhurst, put him into second place, but that looks to be too little too late, even if he is able to continue on with that pace and with that gap. 3.5 seconds for Dylan McDonald right now, going for his 3rd win of the season. That's going to be a tough ask for anybody behind him, especially at 3 seconds back. Spawn Bowser racing hard, coming up off of turn number 2. Dylan McDonald, 9 laps to go for him. He is continuing to put down the fastest laps out on the racetrack. Zach Woods, the only one quicker, and he's laps down after making a pit stop. He ran a 22.94. But in terms of the top 3, maybe the top 5, we'll go ahead and show you our lap times once again. Last time around for your top 5. 23.71, 23.75, 24.07. Whether it's a couple hundredths or a couple tenths, Dylan McDonald is consistently quicker every single time around this racetrack. A lot of people rooting for Cody as he made some of those passes. Tall Owen, don't have a dog in the fight, just here from my commentating. Appreciate that. Let's go Jewel out of Shasta. Jewel able to work his way up to a top 6 spot, trying to chase down Greg Wood Jr., but Wood on those fresher tires has a phenomenal recovery here on this last restart. Oh, and Wood sideways, just as I say that, into the wall. Hopefully he doesn't have any major problems from that. We know that these toe links are kind of fragile, but it looks like that 78's able to continue on, chasing down, John McIntyre. 17 viewers on YouTube, and I don't know if Facebook tells me how many, but we appreciate absolutely everybody who's tuning in here live on Sim Racing Media. Like I said, we've got phenomenal racing 7 nights a week, so hit the subscribe, hit the follow, hit the bell, all that good stuff. 5 laps to go, though, for your race leader, Dylan McDonald. Still just over 3 seconds of a lead, and now he's getting into lap traffic. We've got Zach Woods and the 23 also of Richard Gonzalez just in front of him. Gonzalez stays up top, doesn't seem to want to slow him down. And with 4 laps to go, I just don't know if that's going to be enough for Jonathan Cogswell to chase them down. A couple of lapped cars, but Dylan McDonald has been virtually flawless all race. Three laps, about 2.25 miles to go. Dylan McDonald, as Matt Metler goes up the racetrack, goes wide there, now comes up off of the corner. Came up off the wall a little bit, but still gave plenty of space for Dylan McDonald. Mile and a half to get it done. Jonathan Leach going to try to chase down Angel Santiago for that one last spot there. That's the closest battle we have on the racetrack right now. These guys all working in their tires, and you can see just how worn down those brakes are as Jonathan Leach gets up into the corner here. White flag is out for Dylan McDonald. As you look into those rear rotors, you see just how orange they are on corner entry, but Dylan McDonald has been virtually flawless. We've said it a million times here tonight. This 3/4 mile oval in Richmond, Virginia has been his playground since the drop of the green flag. Coming up off of turn number 4, third win of the season for Dylan McDonald, increases his points lead, and Jonathan Cogswell finishes second. Mark Parkhurst in third, John McIntyre, then Greg Wood with a strong recovery, top 5. Angel Santiago able to keep Jonathan Leach behind him. George Jewell actually was a victim to Angel Santiago there on the last lap. Jewell gets passed by Santiago, Jonathan Leach, Rhett Bowser, David Modespa, Cody Mitchell, Matt Metler, Richard Gonzalez. I tell you what, we'll just go ahead and bring up your results here as you see that 38 burning it down, Dylan McDonald. It was Dylan McDonald, then Jonathan Cogswell, Mark Parkhurst, John McIntyre, Greg Wood, Angel Santiago, George Jewell, Jonathan Leach, Rhett Bowser, David Modespa rounding out your top 10. Then Cody Mitchell, Matt Metler, Richard Gonzalez, Zach Woods, James McCanney, and Gregory Wood Sr. rounded out the field, unable to finish the race, unfortunately for him. But we're going to have Dylan McDonald up in the booth in just a moment here. Well, Dylan, it's Liam up in the booth. How are you doing, man?
You know what? I feel better than what I did at the start of this race.
An absolutely phenomenal show put on by you today, and I tell you what, we talked to almost all of your Titletown Racing teammates here today, but we saved the best for last. Get to talk to you after a dominating win. Kind of walk us through your day and the speed you had in that 38 machine.
You know, I've always been a fan of Richmond, so you know, coming back here, you know, it was like bittersweet, I guess you could say. Just a lot of practice. You know, the A cars were at Richmond this week, so ran a couple of official races at Richmond in the A car. So I had a little bit of an understanding of, you know, where to put my brake bias and everything for that matter. But yeah, I just wanted to come out here, just click off laps, not worry about my competition behind me, just worry about how to race the track and not myself or the other people out there. And ended up working in my favor and swept both stages, got the race win, maximum points night, qualifying as well. So can't be too mad at myself about that.
Yeah, like you said, maximum points night. You increased that points lead you had. It was 16 going in. Can't wait to see what it is after this. But let's talk about, this is your third race win of the season on 3 completely different tracks. I mean, Milwaukee, similar in the sense that it's a mile or less, but it's a flat track compared to this track where you've got a lot of banking and you know, a lot of areas to run. And then last week at Suzuka, you got the job done, and there is just no describing that track.
Yeah, the Milwaukee Mile, that I'm not really a big fan of flat tracks, to be honest. I can't stand them. They just need to be burned down to the ground. But when we did the off season, we had a little bit of testing, and I fell in love with it the first time that I ran the next gen car on there, and I figured out really quick. So you know, got the first win there. Then Suzuka. I mean, I came from the PS4 side, so running nothing but Gran Turismo Sport kind of helped me with Suzuka. It's honestly one of my favorite road courses, other than Watkins Glen or Sebring or anything like that. So now, you know, I got the road course off my back. I got the mile course off my back. Got the short track. Now I just need the 1.5 miles, the 2 miles, and plate tracks.
Yes, sir. Well, a phenomenal job done by you. You've clicked off 3 of the 6 styles of racetrack, like we were just saying. Is there anyone you want to thank for such a strong performance here today at Richmond?
Yeah, I just want to give you a big shout out stepping in for Mike this week up there in the SRM booth. Got to give a big shout out to my dad and Michelle, watching week in and week out, supporting me on iRacing no matter what I do. Got to give a big shout out to all the guys over there at Titletown and Rage, Zach Woods, David Modespa, Cody Mitchell, Josh Billiter, Wes Fuller, Ricky Gonzalez, Blake Howell. I know he's not out here anymore, but big shout out to them. Got to give another big shout out to Elite Performance Industries helping everybody get the feel for a track, even though it's an open setup, but still the same difference. TJR, Raise Energy, W Energy as well. Travis's Auto Services here in Fort Wayne, and Upstate Body Shop and Towing.
Awesome stuff. We appreciate you joining us here. We'll send you back to Titletown Racing to celebrate with your team.
All right, thanks, man.
That was your race winner there. Dylan McDonald gets the job done. Now we're going to have Jonathan Cogswell come back with us as well. Might be... Oh, there he is. Well, we got Jonathan Cogswell, our second place finisher, up in the booth with us. Jonathan, how was your race?
Well, pretty good, other than seeing McDonald in front of me the whole time and nothing I could do about it. If I tried to push it to close them, I'd start going backwards, and that was not the way I wanted to go.
Now, kind of walk us through that battle you had with Mark there in the last run. You guys fought hard, you chased him down, and it seemed like a gap that was kind of stagnant for the longest time, but you were able to chase him down.
I think I was doing better on tire wear, and I think that's what gave me advantage. He was probably faster, but I was using tire wear to my advantage.
Yeah, you definitely seem to be able to cut through on those tires throughout the long runs, the short runs. You were definitely up front throughout most of this thing. Is there anybody you want to thank for such a strong performance here today?
I'd like to thank you for broadcasting and all the people who came out here in the race today and administrators to make it happen.
Awesome stuff. That's number 27, your second place finisher, Jonathan Cogswell. Little quick on the interview there with Jonathan, but it's all right. We'll go ahead and bring in third place, Mark Parkhurst. Mark, you finished third. Got as high as the race lead. Do you think you could have done anything to keep that 38 machine behind you?
No, definitely not. That dude was on rails tonight. Absolute class of the field. I had nothing for him.
Yeah, you seem to have a really strong run on the long run here today. What kind of attributed to that?
I just try to take it easy, save my tires. I tried not to push too hard at the start. I pushed a little too hard in the first stage and started to go backwards there towards the end. So I used that knowledge towards the rest of the race to try to be a little bit easier. That we have something for the long run, but that last run there just kind of faded towards the end.
Yeah, we saw you with a phenomenal battle with Jonathan Cogswell there for second place. It seemed like that gap kind of stagnated. We asked him. He said it was potentially some tire-saving deal. Do you think you could have done any more to keep him behind you?
Probably. I think I was just pushing a little too hard there. Try to keep him behind me because he was just lingering there that whole run. And I was trying to get away from him a little bit. Just burnt up the rears a little too much. Had no drive off there last about 15 laps or so.
Awesome stuff, man. You came away with a third place finish. Is there anyone you want to thank for such a strong run here today?
Oh yeah, first I got to shout out Goose Graphics, my buddy John Gutekunst, who made up the scheme for me. Pro Cup Racing Experience has been on the car, my sponsor for a third week in a row now. So big shout out to them. I got to thank my teammates over at HSR. They're always really supportive and help me out, and I help them learn tracks for the week and all that. And last of all, I got to thank my mom for watching. She always supports my races, so major shout out to her as well.
Awesome stuff, Mark. You ran a phenomenal race. Congratulations once again on your third place run.
Thank you, buddy.
That was Mark Parkhurst. That's going to about do it for us here today on Sim Racing Media for the Monsters of Speed Racing League. Apologies for it saying Suzuka. This is round number 8 from Richmond. The Kids Lawn Services Incorporated 150. Appreciate them jumping on for this race. But Dylan McDonald got the job done. Jonathan Cogswell, Mark Parkhurst, John McIntyre, Greg Wood, rounding out your top 5. Then Angel Santiago, George Jewell, Jonathan Leach, Rhett Bowser, and David Modespa. Cody Mitchell, Matt Metler, Richard Gonzalez, Zach Woods, James McCanney, and then Gregory Wood is going to round out the field. So after a phenomenal race at Richmond, a couple of different strategies coming into play, a couple of guys hoping for yellows that never came. In the end, it goes in the favor of Dylan McDonald. So you see him completing his Polish victory lap. He's going to pad to his points lead. It was 16 going in. See if there's an update here before we get up off. Not quite yet, but we'll have that update shortly for you guys if you want to keep following on the YouTube, the Facebook, all that. Appreciate everybody who's tuned in and chatted here live on Facebook and YouTube. This has been Liam Irving for Sim Racing Media. You are watching the Monsters of Speed Racing League at Richmond Raceway. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you next time.